See? Hello and welcome to episode 2 as we go for a little walk. It is now almost, I think it's about 8:15 in the evening. As you always, I have to keep my voice down a little bit because I've got neighbours. Who knows what they're doing. But welcome to Toby Everyday. Today is Monday, August 3rd, 2020. And today I'm just going to take a little walk after the epic journey in episode 1. That left me with shins that were completely torn to shreds by stinging nettles and insect bites. My feet were absolutely ruined. My ankles were, both of them were effectively twisted beyond repair. I say beyond repair, they were fine, they're fine now. My legs were, especially my thighs, were in a lot of agony. So I had to take it easy yesterday. I wanted to broadcast yesterday, but as I said in episode 1, I was a special guest on the Baby Metal podcast, and that interview went on for almost 2.5 hours. So by the time it was done, I was recording on my studio mic, and I didn't have the foresight to sit down and do it. I basically stood the entire time, and by the time that the episode was finished recording, I'd ended up just taking it easy. I didn't switch on the stream. I didn't do a sit down and chat session with you guys. I basically just sat down and watched The Walking Dead. I did do a 2-hour chat with my friend Paul Scanlon. He's an Irish kitsune, a fan of baby metal. He called me up. I think the interview finished around 7 p.m. And then around 9 p.m. He messaged me and he said, "Hey, I was listening to the broadcast on the podcast. It was really interesting. I just wondered if you wanted to talk about it." So I said, "Yeah, sure." So we spent 2 hours talking about the interview on the podcast. I've got one viewer. Hello, whoever you are. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. This show is predicated on talking about anything you want. So just drop us a line, say hello. Tell me who you are. I'd love to know. As I was saying, so that was why I didn't stream yesterday. But that first episode that we did 2 days ago, where I wandered into the woods and ended up destroying my legs, but at the same time discovering the old car that was abandoned in the middle of the forest with no apparent way of how it got in there. There was the crazy Texas Chainsaw Massacre-like farm that I found towards the end of the episode. That was pretty. It was a pretty intense episode. So I was definitely taking it easy yesterday. I felt like I'd earned the right to chill out. So today it's my first walk after that rest. And we're just going to take it easy today. We're going to walk down to the crossroads as per normal, and then I'm thinking of maybe taking a turn to the right and walking towards the Stowe House, which is the huge mansion, like the stately house that's in the area. I don't know if we'll get there. It is kind of late here in the UK, so it will be a bit of a long trek to go all the way to Stowe House with dying light, as we discovered on that episode the other day. It does get quite dark here. On the camera it seems to be quite bright. You guys seem to really enjoy the look of the place in the evening, but it's worrying for me. And again, I've forgotten to bring my flashlight because I'm that kind of genius. But anyways, another thing that happened yesterday, and it started just after the podcast, but it got really intense after I'd spoken to Paul on Discord. I started getting like pain in the left of my chest, which is something I've not quite experienced before. I don't know if that was a muscle pain or what it was, but I was genuinely concerned that it could have been a problem with my heart. I am 38, I am overweight, and that's what this show is about: losing weight, getting some exercise. So yeah, I was worried about it, worried to the point where I tried to stay awake as long as possible because I didn't want to die in my sleep. I woke up and the pain was still there, but I was alive, so yay me, I guess. The pain subsided about 90 minutes later. I've not had it since, but that's definitely something to worry about. I do have a blood pressure monitor, so I got that out and had a go on it, but my blood pressure was absolutely fine. My resting heart rate is cool as a cucumber. I've got no issue there whatsoever, so I don't need to worry. Now we're going to hit the hill in a second, which is where I tend to go kind of quiet. I can already feel in my foot there's already a bit of pain and discomfort, which I got from wearing the inappropriate footwear and doing that crazy hiking through the fields where the ground was uneven. So at some point I may have to cut the walk short and just turn around and start heading back, but hopefully not. Here is the entrance that eluded us. This was where we hoped to exit on the big walk. This one here, we just couldn't find it, but I don't know if we'll be able to see it through these trees, but I think I was just on the, let's see, so through here you can kind of see the outline of the trees in the background. I think I was just on the other side of that when I decided to stop letting my legs get ripped to shreds. Hey Lady Nieske, good evening, thanks for joining me on this beautiful Monday evening. It's a little bit late. I wanted to head out sooner. It's been a bit of a long day, so thanks for joining. I always love it when people return for another look at what's going on with me and the show. But today's topic, I wanted to talk about high concept television. The reason being that earlier this evening I had a catch-up call with my friend Michelle, who occasionally tunes into the show. The weather looks great on your stream. The Netherlands is all grey and cloudy. We have hardly a cloud in the sky. It's gorgeous today, although it feels almost autumnal, the air, I have to say. I was talking with Michelle about high concept television. I've been, as I've said on previous live streams, the last few weeks I've started watching The Walking Dead again, which is high concept television. And recently Michelle started watching 24, which is what prompted me to think about today's topic. I loved 24 when it first came out. It was kind of new at that time for, A-list Hollywood actors to appear in television. For those of you unfamiliar with it, basically it's about a guy who works for a fictional government agency that counters terrorism, and the concept, hey, Tiggerable has joined us. The concept is that the show is in real time. There's 24 episodes. Each episode represents 1 hour of the day, and basically there's always this ticking clock, and it gives the action or at times in action, a sense of urgency, and a feeling of needing to get things done before certain deadlines. So he started that show again. So we were talking about that, and just basically, there you go, look at that sunset. A little glimpse of things to come. So yeah, we were talking about that and how he's enjoying it. So I started thinking, like, what was the first high concept TV show I remember? And the first thing that came to my mind was ER, which was a medical drama that was exec produced by Steven Spielberg, and the script was based on a concept by Michael Crichton, who was then hot property coming off the back of Jurassic Park. Tiggerable is saying some awesome skies tonight. Absolutely. As we get to the first viewpoint, where I'm going to catch my breath, we will have a look at that sunrise some more, or sunset I should say. But yeah, but ER was not the first high concept TV show, and definitely not in my era, because I'm very much a child of the 80s. So I thought, okay, what else was there in the 80s? Turns out in the 80s there was a lot of high concept television, but then I thought even further back and there was tons more. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that I like, and hopefully you guys in the chat will be able to jump in on the topic and add your own thoughts to the topic. But I'm just going to pop you down, give you this sunset to look at, and have a quick drink of water before I carry on. Any viewers here not set to online, please do so for that +1 viewer count. Yes, that would be great, thank you. I appreciate that. I only see one viewer at the moment, so I don't know how it looked. I haven't watched the episode back yet, but the episode we did a couple of days ago, I actually had to climb this gate that you see in front of us as I came from over that hill. It was not easy, I will tell you that much. Oh gosh, that's better. Okay. Right, there's water. Feeling refreshed. Tiggerable, just to catch you up on what's been happening. I didn't do a stream yesterday because I've been having some pains in my chest, and my feet and legs were kind of messed up. Oh look, there's someone's burning something, it looks like. That looks like smoke. Good movie, great song at the end. Michelle, welcome. I recommended Michelle check out the film Knives Out, and I think he's just finished it. What did you think of that best worst car chase? So yeah, it's great that Michelle is here actually, because we were just talking about you. Based on the conversation we were having earlier about 24 and The Walking Dead, today's episode is about high concept television. And I was talking about how I remember ER being sort of called high concept at the time, but there was of course a lot more than ER in my lifetime, and certainly before that. So the two big ones from before I was alive that immediately come to my mind were Star Trek, the original series, and Batman with Adam West, which long-time viewers of this show will remember is Adam West is my Batman. He's my all-time favourite Batman, and I won't fight anyone for that opinion, but I will definitely ask you to respect that opinion. But yeah, Star Trek, the original series, very low budget, but very high concept. The concept being that in the future there are no different races, there are no countries, like everyone on the planet Earth is one big happy family, and mankind is in an alliance with other planets, and they are basically flying through outer space, finding new life and new civilizations, quite literally. Excuse me. Some episodes would be action-packed. Someone's walking towards me, so I'm just going to pop the camera on me for a second. There we go. So yeah, some episodes were action-packed. Sometimes they were fighting monsters and things. Sometimes there'd be a political situation they'd stumble into and would have to either mediate or figure out how people could stop arguing, basically. And it was good fun. Yeah. So that's how people would tune in every week and just see this show that had, there was famously the first interracial kiss on screen on television. Scandalous at the time, but why was it scandalous? That's how the thinking is today, of course. There was a Russian on the ship, and Russia was at war with the USA at the time, with the Cold War in Vietnam. But yeah, it was the concept of Star Trek was basically this is what we could become and what we could aspire to be. I'm going to flip the camera back. It did okay. People enjoyed it for the most part, but it didn't. After 2 seasons, they basically slashed the funding and they gave it what they called the death slot, which I believe was a Thursday evening in America. Hey Millie, 404 Millie not found. There's a car coming, so we're just going to take a break and enjoy the sunset. But yeah, basically they cancelled it after 3 seasons, and then there was a strong letter writing campaign, and the show was eventually picked up for a film franchise. But there was also, I'm just gonna wait for this car. There was also one of my favourite shows called Batman. Let's keep walking. Down there is the way to the barn. But we're not going to go there. We're going to go somewhere different tonight. Yeah, Batman was also a high concept show. It was action packed. But it was also a comedy, and it was one of the first representations of a superhero. Even though Batman isn't actually a superhero, he's just a hero. He has no special powers. He's not got any super abilities, so he isn't a superhero. That's something that people always get wrong. But yeah, it's colourful, it's bright, and it's camp, and that's why we love Batman 66. But yeah, growing up in the 80s, I had amazing TV shows to watch. So there was the A-Team, there was Airwolf, there was Knight Rider. That's to name 3. I'm desperately trying to think of other things right now, but I can't. Of course, there was cartoons as well, such as He-Man, Thundercats, and Ninja Turtles, but Transformers. But those are things we're going to save for another episode, because today we just want to talk about the television shows. But yeah, anyone in the chat room, if you want to chip in with any 80s TV shows that had a cool concept about them and weren't just run-of-the-mill dramas, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling. But yeah, so the A-Team was about 4 mercenaries who were wrongly convicted of a crime in Vietnam, and then they were constantly on the run from being court-martialed, I think it was, by the American government. He had MacGyver, or did I miss it? No, MacGyver was another great show. We'll talk about MacGyver in a minute, because he's very similar to the A-Team in some respects. The A-Team was basically 4 guys. You had Hannibal, who was the older guy, who was clearly the squadron or platoon leader of the 4. You had Face, who was the handsome guy who basically would schmooze his way in and out of places. He had, if this was a Dungeons and Dragons game, all of his numbers would be like dumped into his charisma stat. That was basically his job. He was the ladies' man. He had the Muscle, which was B.A. Baracus, who had an inexplicable fondness for gold and crazy hairstyles. And then you had Murdoch, who was my favourite, who was probably one of the most intelligent and normal people there, but he acted completely insane and was people thought he was mentally unstable, but that was all part of an act. When he needed to, he would just switch all that off and go back to being you could see why he was a member of the team. I really am curious what this smoke is on the horizon over here. Lady Niska, she's saying, I watched a lot of A-Team as a kid, and I am more of a 90s kid, I think. Oh, we have 3 viewers as well, fantastic. Yeah, the A-Team was great fun. There was always action. There was a lot of montage sequences, although not in every episode, where they would hit the music and then you just see them building tanks or submarines or helicopters, just like all kinds of crazy things out of like a tractor, a shoebox and a duct tape. And that was all that they needed to basically fend off the enemies. Airwolf, I don't remember much about Airwolf, but it has an amazing theme tune. And the concept behind that was it was just this crazy, like, ultra technologically advanced helicopter. Lady Niska saying, I used to love the building montages. Tigrable saying Airwolf was great for the time. Yes. And I can't remember the actor's name, but he went on to be in the Stargate TV show, Stargate SG-1, I believe. I don't know if he was the same character as the Kurt Russell one in the movie, but yeah, I don't know. I never watched the Stargate TV shows, but as I was saying, in Star Trek, that's another show that seemed to get picked up and cancelled and renewed on the strength of fan campaigns, which is great. But yeah, I remember Airwolf just being this awesome looking helicopter and zipping in and out of canyons and shooting rockets and God knows what. Great fun. It was kind of like the show Knight Rider, which I did enjoy a lot of, and that was basically this Zardu Hasselfrau guy who was driving around in a awesome black car that could talk, called KITT. Pop quiz hot shot in the chat room. Anyone know what KITT stands for? And I'm asking because I've genuinely forgotten. Ooh, look. It looks like there's a rocket taking off here. I can't remember if I mentioned this on a previous episode. Happy Days, a bit older. Oh yeah, Happy Days. That was High Concept. That was a show that was set in the 1950s. It had the Fonz and Chachi, 2 unlikely best friends. Chachi was a nerd and the Fonz was the coolest guy in the world. He was a greaser, so he had the leather motorbike jacket and the white t-shirt and the jeans on. And it was also a comedy as well. But that was a show that really reminded people of, especially in America, how life used to be, the good old happy days, as it were. Look at the clouds. It looks like a dragon. Like, here's its head. Here's its lower jaw. This is the fire coming out. This is his body with the tail coming up, and then these are the wings up behind it. Isn't that cool? It's a crazy sky. Colonel Jack O'Neill, Richard Dean Anderson, that's the one. Was he the same character as the Stargate movie? I used to love Stargate. I saw that at the cinema, and then I had it was one of the first videotapes I had. And I used to watch that film constantly, and then one day I just tried to watch it, and I was like, I don't want to see this film ever again, and I never did. Oh, I hear a vehicle. I don't know where it is. Just check. Richard Dean Anderson is the MacGyver. Knight Industries 2000, that's what KITT stands for. Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, Richard Dean Anderson is MacGyver. Great, I didn't get that one wrong at least. Knight Industries 2000. Oh, Misha's chimed in as well. Millie beat you to it, I'm afraid, my brother, but we've got 4 viewers. Fantastic. So yeah. So that was Knight Rider. Is basically a talking car, and it would just drive around and talk. I can't remember much about it. I do remember that it would be supported by like an elderly gentleman and this young woman, and they'd have this trailer on the back of a truck, and it's actually a really dangerous stunt. But what they used to do, they would, as the truck was moving, they'd lower the ramp on the rear of the trailer, and then basically the car would just floor it and then drive straight onto the ramp and then into the back of the truck. However, the back of the truck, as soon as the wheels of the car touch it, is essentially stationary. So the car is going at a huge rate of speed to get onto the trailer while it's in motion, but then he has to slam on the brakes immediately, otherwise he's just going to go straight into the back of the truck. So Michel's saying I was slow on Google. Sorry. No, don't be sorry. You did fine. Wow, look, our rocket ship is literally changed course. It was going up and now it's turned over. Knight Rider 2000. That was a spin-off show apparently. Michel's on the case. He's finding out other shows. But yeah, basically that was the 80s for me. It was Knight Rider, A-Team, a bit of Airwolf, and then we got to the 90s, and the 90s is really where everything happened for me. I was massively into television when I was in the 90s. We had, even though it's animated, I'm going to include this one. There was a show called The Simpsons, which started in the 80s but really caught on in a big bad way in the 90s. I just heard something, a rustling in the bushes, but I don't know what that was. Wow, look at that sunset, guys. I'm going to pop you down here. I'm going to have a quick drink. Then we're going to go somewhere brand new. So, there you go. But yeah, The Simpsons was a social lubricant back in the day. Like, me and my friends would literally be able to talk and have whole conversations just purely in Simpsons quotes. Sorry about that. Just needed to wet the whistle. But yeah, we would watch The Simpsons and laugh our butts off. There was also a lot of Star Trek returning to our TV, starting with Star Trek The Next Generation, and then that spun off into Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and then that spun off into Voyager, and then after that there was Enterprise. And by the time Enterprise ended on its 4th season, there had been at least one Star Trek show on televisions in America every year for 18 years, which is crazy when you think about it. But yeah, that was Star Trek. Now, long-time viewers, here we are. Now, on the previous episode, we went that way, and then we ducked right into this forest, and this is where the hidden car was. Today we're going to walk down this road and see what we can find. So let's go. Tiggerable is saying, did I bring a map today? Unfortunately, I did not. I don't actually have a map. I do need to look into... I have my old phone still, and I'm wondering if there might be a way that I can get it to work, at least just for taking notes without any SIM card inside it. But I do have like a notepad app, so I'm wondering if I can charge that up and bring that out and use it somehow. Lady Niska saying DS9 and Voyager. I watched all of those when they came out. Janeway is my captain. Yes, Captain Janeway, very underrated as a captain. She was just like Picard in that she was no nonsense, and was always unwilling to compromise. But yeah, she had a heart of gold as well. Whereas Picard genuinely was just a by the book kind of guy, and that's not a bad thing. Tiggerable is saying to Lady Niska, then we must be on the same ship. Oh, we have a car coming behind us. Let's flip that camera around. Is it going to be driving by, or is it going to turn? Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he turned. Right, there we go. But yeah, brand new routes today. This is kind of fun. I like exploring uncharted waters, if you will. It's getting dark down here already, so let's show you that again. There you go. But yeah, The Simpsons is still going strong. It's also the longest running animated show. I think it's been on TV now for 30 years or 29 years. And the whole thing is, I'm very happy to say, available for immediate viewing on Disney Plus. I stopped watching The Simpsons when I was in my late teens. When I moved to the Netherlands, I didn't know what channel it was on, so I rarely got to watch The Simpsons after about season 12 or so. But that was a great show as well. There was probably the biggest show for me prior to 24 in the 90s was a little something called The X-Files. I will never forget the first time that I'll open Google Maps again, LOL. Thank you, Tiggerable. Yeah, Tiggerable had to open up Google Maps and help me get home on the last live stream. Gosh, it's dark and creepy in there. It's quite light up here, but yeah, it is dark. I know it looks bright on the screen for you guys, but that's because the camera has pretty good low light. So what you're seeing on the screen is actually a lot brighter than what I'm seeing. Gosh, this road is in really bad repair. Wow. There's a little... I love finding all these little nooks and crannies. I don't want to go in there right now, especially because, once again, I'm wearing shorts. But yeah, The X-Files. I remember the first night that was broadcast on BBC Two. At that time I was 12 and my bedtime was 9 p.m. but I had a tiny little television that you could jam a coat hanger into the aerial and jiggle it about and get somewhat of a television signal. And all I knew was that The X-Files was about aliens. I was like, I like aliens. So I put The X-Files on, and for 45 minutes I just sat there watching through the worst reception imaginable for trying to watch television with a coat hanger for an aerial. It was covered with static and that kind of snow that you used to get on old televisions, but I could barely but still see things going on the screen, and I loved it. I loved the first episode. It was gripping, enthralling. Things were going on, I didn't know what the hell they were, but I knew I was loving what I was seeing. And then the next episode, I believe was called, I think it was Stretch, was the second episode. It was, I think, the one with Eugene Toombs. It was the guy who goes into hibernation every 67 years or something and then re-emerges and kills people, eats their livers, and then goes back to hibernating. And that terrified me at the time. And I was like, okay, you're talking about aliens one week, you're talking about men who can hibernate for decades and stretch their bodies and kill people for livers. I want to watch this show. And watch that show I did. To this day, I still have the entire series on DVD. Ooh. Right, we've got 5 viewers, fantastic. We're not going to go in here today because I learned my lesson the last time, which was not to walk on unstable ground. So we're just going to keep walking this way instead. Let's see where we can go. I'm actually kind of glad. When I was starting this, my foot was in quite considerable discomfort and I was worried I'd have to turn around. But that pain has subsided in my foot and I now have a pain in my neck. Let's check the chat. Cow Pond Cops. Looks eerie in the dark. Okay, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We know where we are now. Tiggerable, if I keep walking, the road here is about to bend. Can you tell roughly how far I am from the crossroads where if you go left, you go to Stowe House? Because if we can make it down there, I want to show that to Michelle because we drove it when he was here last. Oh, look. It's actual corn, like a cornfield. Like sweet corn. Illegal dumping costs. Surveillance operates in this area. Witness someone dumping waste illegally. See it, report it. But yeah, here we have an actual crop of sweet corn. There's an old tyre as well. What is it with this place and just people just dropping old wheels? I don't know. I wish I could zoom in. I don't know if you can see that, but it appears there's like purple things growing on them. Maybe they're corn that's about to come, or maybe it's corn that has come. Do you know what that is down there? Tiggerable, can you do me a favour? Is that the barn? It's quite a way to go to Stowe House, about 3 or 4 miles. Okay, we're going to forget about Stowe House for today. This is a nice view. If that's the barn, I think we're going to go down there and walk back home. That's the barn. Fantastic. To quote Tenacious D, that's fucking teamwork. Oh, thank you, my friend. Right, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to destroy my ankles to get home. There's smoke again over here on the horizon. I don't know how well that's showing up. Right, let's risk it for a biscuit. We're going to go and march on through this field. Roar. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like with the help of Tiggerable, sponsored by Google Maps, today we are showing you a brand new area. This is wheat or barley, I think, this crop. Just to let you know, this is the road that we're leaving behind with the sweet corn. But yeah, if Michel is still watching, when you came over and we went to Silverstone to watch the MotoGP, Michel, the day that we drove and we went down the road where you said, oh wow, I feel like I'm on holiday all of a sudden because it was kind of strange the way it stretched out before us. That was the road up to Stowe House, and that road is running straight through these trees here. And then it goes all the way up here, and then behind here somewhere is Stowe House. I did want to walk down to those crossroads, but I think it's actually going to be too much of a hike. But as luck would have it, the barn is here. So we're going to see if we can access the barn from this direction. And see what we can see. This is exciting. I love this feels like real life Legend of Zelda. I mentioned this on the last stream. But yeah, for a good few, well, I'd say at least a month, I've been just walking up to that crossroads and back just to get a bit of a level of fitness. I still love the view. Excellent. Let's have another look. But yeah, I will say for a fact that my fitness level feels a lot better than it has in a long time, and that's why when I came out the other day, I went for that epic 2-hour walk. I didn't mean to be out that long. I just got lost. But yeah, I had to rest yesterday, of course, but I felt great. I felt like I could have actually walked a little bit more. Had the ground been more forgiving, if it was a road, I probably could have walked multiple miles. I think for some reason, I think the gimbal is on a slight slant. I apologise for that, people. I did try to calibrate it before I left, but it feels like it's slightly on a slant. But yeah, I love the way that we're mapping out the world together. So this means that from now on, we have other routes that we can take. We can head out into new areas. But anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about the X-Files. And then in the year 2000, as I said earlier, and as I was talking about with Michel really earlier, 24 came on the screens, and that changed everything. There was a Hollywood celebrity, Kiefer Sutherland playing the main role. The concept was high action, high intensity, Lots of good conspiracy based stories. There's the 5G tower over there. So where these trees are over here, this is the road that we just walked up to get here. 24 was pretty great. Thank you, Tiggerable. So yeah, and then 24 really became something of a cultural phenomena. There were people, it was being parodied on TV, and people had never seen anything like it. So then stuff starts happening where you get shows like Lost, for example, where there's a plane crash, survivors are on an island, weird shit goes down. That's basically it. There's a weird smoky dragon monster, there's polar bears, there's a door into the ground, there's a mysterious clock that needs to be reset every certain amount of time, and then things get really crazy after the 4th season where they move the island and it starts taking place in different time periods. So Lost was very high concept. Sorry I don't talk much, watching and listening, but taking apart my Lego car. Oh, nice. I'm glad Michel's very sensible when it comes to Lego. He will only get very, very specific things if they mean something to him, unlike the rest of us who go, new Lego, I want it now, and then we max out our credit cards and plunge ourselves into hideous debt. So yeah, Michel has a small Lego collection, but that Lego collection is very personal, and it's glorious. That's what I like about it. When you look at that Lego collection, that collection is saying something about Michel. Look at these plants, really pretty. We got a Lego shop, so we got everything. Yes, that's true. Tiggerable, if you want to plug your Lego store, please drop a link in the chat. I don't know if Twitch will allow external links, but please go ahead. You support me, I'd rather support you. In fact, I'd say that this show is sponsored by your Lego store. I'm actually in a position right now where I may need to start selling my Lego. Some sets are worth quite a bit, like The Simpsons. I've got all the Simpsons stuff. Oh, that beautiful view is gone, and now we've just got this empty field. Wah, wah. But we are almost at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre barn. There's more to look at over there, including the setting sun. So yeah, let's just keep the camera here for a bit. But yeah, I may have to get rid of my Lego again, which is a real shame. But at the same time, if I'm thinking ahead and moving to Japan one day, I can't really take the Lego with me. Oh yes, Tigger has so much Lego. Brilliant. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. store.bricklink.com/bricks.4dockskicks, bricks for kicks. Go search them up and get your Lego on, as I like to say. But yeah, we're going to keep talking about TV, because I don't want to stray offline, but I do have a little bit of something to talk about with Japan. So let me get back to that when we get back on the road. So let's wrap up the high concept TV. So yeah, now in the era of Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that kind of thing, at Toby Everyday, PM us the sets you've got, we might be able to help you. Oh, fantastic, I'll do that. Michel, if you could do me a good deal on the Ducati or the Lambo, I'm in. Lambo! Sorry, I've been watching a lot of The Mandalorian. Mando! Yeah, Michel really wants that. Those big car sets. Whoa. Nice fell over there. Like in a zombie apocalypse, this is the kind of thing that you wish you could just pull out of your backpack and shred. Shreds the monsters. Yeah, nowadays in Netflix, like, everything is a high concept show. We've had shows that are spin-offs of TV series. Shows that are spin-off of movies like Hannibal. Shows that are heavily horror based. Shows that are comic book based. Even things like the Marvel movies have shows that are interwoven with the movies. It's crazy. It's a real fascinating time to be into television, but unfortunately there's so much to choose from. It's almost impossible to see everything. Whereas there was a time where I would watch television religiously back in the 80s and 90s to know everything that was going on. But now you have to be careful. I've still not seen shows like Game of Thrones, and I should, because I love Deadwood, and I know that a bunch of people who worked on Deadwood went on to work with the Game of Thrones project. Millie's saying, I can't do Lego, the bits are too fiddly. Someone got me a Sylveon one and that was hard work and gave up and let the kids do it. Bless her. Yeah, Lego is very fiddly, and it hurts like crazy if you tread on it. But I'm just going to have a little look in the barn. Pardon me, I just farted, that was gross. What? No Technic series? Gosh, this place is really creepy in the dark, and I can tell on the camera that it's juddery, which means that the low light is having to really kick in and work hard. So a little look over here. Still nothing has moved, nothing has changed. I do want to shoot like a music video or a horror movie in here, because this is production value aplenty, just full of craziness. But yeah, let's not loiter here. I don't want any monsters to come pouncing out of the dark and chase after me. But yeah, so TV is nowadays big business. The Lord of the Rings TV series that's being made by Amazon at the moment, I think is the most expensive television project in history. I think they had a budget of over 250 million, I think, for the whole thing, which is a very considerable budget. I mean, I remember back in the day when the film Waterworld, the Kevin Costner kind of Mad Max-like film on the ocean, had a budget of, I think it was 40 million, and that was like record-breaking, or was it 80 million? Can someone fact-check me and make sure I'm not talking stupid? What was the budget on Waterworld, please? Let me know. Film trivia, ladies and gentlemen, on the Toby Everyday Show. But yeah, it's an exciting time, and there's lots of great shows that are on the way, including a Walking Dead spin-off. There already is one called Fear the Walking Dead, which I actually would say is better than the actual original Walking Dead. And the new Walking Dead show that's coming to Amazon soon is the concept is it's about 10 years after the shows that are on TV at the moment, and it's about the children who grew up in a post-zombie apocalypse world. There is a trailer for it. It came out the other day. It looks pretty interesting. Wait a minute. Lady Niska is saying 172 to 175 million for Waterworld. Where did I get 30? Can you have a look in the facts and see if it says at the time it was the most high expensive budget? I can't remember why. Why do I have that in my mind? Maybe it only made 40 million or something. I can't remember. But yeah, at the time I remember Waterworld being a thing about how expensive it was. Boy, I look like an idiot on the on my own show right now. See, I'm good at pub quizzes when it comes to movies and TV. But I'm also getting old and don't remember much. I saw no trailer. I'll have to search it. Oh, I think that's Millie's talking about the Walking Dead show, the new one. Oh, Millie, just to catch you up, I'm on season 7 of Walking Dead. I think I just finished episode 5 or 6. And well, I'm going to out you a little bit, I hope you don't mind. But yeah, Millie is one of my kink-friendly friends, let's say. And the other day in the chat, she was saying about how the Negan character in The Walking Dead season 7 is a serious daddy. And yeah, I can see why, and 100% get why. And I'm definitely going to have to learn some tips and tricks from him. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter. Let's go back to the chat. Universal initially authorized a budget of 100 million, which by mid-1994 had swollen to 135 million, with final costs reaching an estimated 175 million, a record sum for a film produced at the time. Fantastic. So at least I got one thing right, which was that the film was damn expensive. In 30 meters, go right. Go right? Are you sure? LOL or left? Yeah, left. Oh, you are the best kind of navigator. Kink friendly, yes, absolutely kink friendly. Michel will tell you there was we talked about this before, I think, on the show. I can't remember. I know we spoke about it recently. It may have even been on a WhatsApp chat with our friend Jeff, but Michel and I bonded very early in our friendship over a game called Midnight Club 2, and later Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. But yeah, in that game, and I forgot why I started saying this. Why did I start saying this? Oh, right, yeah, the go right. So basically what would happen was we would pass the pad, we would do 2 or 3 races, or basically get as far as we could until we would give up, and then we would pass the pad to the other guy, and then we would basically just try and get past that race and then get on to the next one. And I was absolutely crap at giving Michel directions, and famously we were stuck on this race for what felt like hours, and he was in first place, and he looked like we were finally going to do it. We were there, we were going to beat this race and see where we were going from there on out. And Michel was like, right, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? I was like, okay, go right, go right, go right. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yes, go right, go right. Michel goes right. As soon as he goes right, all the cars go whizzing past. He loses and drops down to the bottom end of the race. And I look at him and I go, I'm sorry, I meant to say go left. The good news is that we restarted the race and we won in the next round. But yeah, that was a very fond memory. Is go right, go right, go right, go left. Another fond memory we have from that game is I'm going to talk about this in the video game episode when we get back to that one, so I don't want to go too overboard with the reminiscences. But there was another one where I basically didn't know where the shortcut was to take in this race, and I don't know why he said it, but he sounded very much like Yoda. Michel just said, into the garage you must go. So yeah, the other right. Michel's just saying, yeah, the other right. Go right, go right, go right. The other right. But yeah, so that and into the garage you must go. That and many other little sound bites are treasured memories of ours. We will talk about those in depth when we do a video game episode. I have a lot of great stories to share with you guys about Michel. So yeah, maybe I should save more of them for when he's on the show sometime. I'd love to do this when I come over to Holland next, or when he's in town. Same with Tiggerable. Tiggerable's already chomping at the bit to come on the show and go for a walk with me, which would be amazing. So yeah, I did say I was going to talk about something a little bit about Japan when I got back on the road, so I'll fill you that in. First things first, I mentioned on the previous stream that I had been approached for a job role. I've spoken with my agent, and we're going to go for it. He's put me forward for it. I do have to go for an interview, so I've not got the role yet, but the people said, what's this guy's history? And he's like, well, he's actually just finished a role at Mercedes-Benz. And they were like, oh, can we speak to his manager, please? So they spoke to I didn't have a manager, I had a client contact, which was Paul. And Paul is my friend outside of the office. They don't know that. So they said, hello, we have a potential candidate interested in a job here. His name is Toby. We believe he worked for you. And Paul said, he's an asset, you need him, take him. So Paul had my back, and it looks like that has boded well, because they want to see me. So I will hear back from them eventually. Skip merrily down the road together. I'd watch that. Oh, maybe we could do that. Right, let's have one more look at this gorgeous sky. Excellent news. Fingers crossed. Thank you. I can't tell if that is smoke, That could be just really low dark cloud on the horizon. Yeah, so I might have that. But today I was doing the dishes and I was listening to the latest episode of don't say that on stream, they can look it up. Oh, shush. They won't find me, and when they do find me, it'll be too late. But no, you're right, I should keep a lid on that. Yeah. So today I was listening to the latest episode of the Abroad in Japan podcast, and someone wrote them an email and asked them what Interac was, which is an Ikaya. A is an Ikaya, sorry. And A is Eigo is the Japanese for Dutch, for English. So Ikaya is basically a talking space. It's a company where a Japanese person can go and say, I will pay you by the hour to talk English with me so I can learn English. So it's not formal classes, but you are one-on-one with a Japanese person trying to have an English conversation with them. And apparently, if you want to work at an Ikaya, you don't need a degree. You earn less money than you would if you're on the JET program, which was my original plan to get into Japan, by teaching English in schools, but I don't have the degree to do that. But apparently an Ikaya will take you if you don't have a degree, but you do have, world experience, and I certainly have that. So that's now lit something underneath me. I'm now thinking, okay, maybe I should look into these Ikayas and see if that's something I could do, maybe for a year, maybe for 6 months, I don't know. But yeah, we will see how everything pans out here. At the moment, I know that the JET program is kind of on hold because of the coronavirus. So I expect there to be no work for Ikayas either. But also on this podcast, they mentioned a website which I've heard many times of before, and it's never occurred to me to look into it. But there's a website called Gaijin Pot. Gaijin is basically Buitenlander. If you're in Holland, it's a Japanese word for a foreign person. It's considered a racial slur nowadays, which is, some people don't see it that way, other people do see it that way. So there's a word called Gaiaigo, I think it is, which is a person of foreign origin. It's basically a nicer way of saying Gaijin. Gai meaning foreign and jin meaning person. If you're Japanese, you're Nihonjin, which is Japanese person. So yeah, Gaijin Pot is a website where foreign people can find work in Japan. So I'm going to go on there and have a look and see if there's any work that I can do, as I don't have a degree. But there are companies that will apparently sponsor you to go out there instead if you have what they're looking for. I would like to think that I have skills that could be of use to people, and the fact that I'm very much ensconced with the culture and the language by now could be a thing. So I don't know, I'm going to look into it. No sheeps tonight, but we don't need sheep. We do have 3 viewers though. By the way, so I get statistics after every broadcast. I save the video and then I export it to YouTube, and then I get an email saying, here's your report for your stream, and it tells me how many total viewers I've had, if they're returning viewers, if they're new viewers, what the retention was like, so how long people sort of on average stay tuned. It helps inform the show. It lets me know what the audience is looking for. Oh, we just had a bat fly over my head again, and Tigrable is saying 59 minutes, so that's great. We've had an hour's walk. Originally I thought I was only going to do about a half hour, 45 minutes max. But yeah, those statistics are becoming very interesting to me. So the longer you guys watch, the more those statistics to Twitch look very attractive, because it shows that even though I have a small, very, very, very small audience, that audience is very loyal. It means that people are sticking with the show, and that means obviously they're using the Twitch service, so Twitch are happy, and that makes me happy. I did yesterday appear on the Baby Metal podcast. That episode will be coming out in a few weeks' time, and they did ask me if there was anything I wanted to plug. So I did mention the channel, and I also mentioned the challenge that ultimately in the year 2022 I want to hike to the top of Mount Fuji and fly my Baby Metal flag. So I kind of threw down the challenge to anyone who listens to that podcast and said, please join me. So hopefully we'll start getting some new people tuning in. That will mean that the Baby Metal chat will probably ramp up. At the moment we have a good casual conversation audience with shared but varied interests. So yeah, I will try to keep things that way. Obviously I'll talk about Kisby a lot, for example, and no one watching is into Kisby, but I am into them, so it'll probably be a similar thing. Like I'll keep you guys in the loop on all things Baby Metal, but other things beside. Here's the really nice house in the dark. I like how this place is really lit up. It's just really nice. Oh gosh, it's definitely dark. Everything's got this weird blue hue to it. Let's turn this corner and take the long hike home. And we'll go look at the tree, the mansion and the church, and we'll stop for the day. In fact, let's not stop for the day. We'll go see if we can find the sheep in that little extra place near the around the back of my house. Let's see if we can do that. Right. I love the glow of the lights in the windows. Oh, there's a cat looking out the window. Sorry, I keep my voice down at the moment because there's lots of windows. Oh, because of that. One of my neighbours just literally just turned into a werewolf. I try to keep my voice down because they let him out. Because I don't want to disturb my neighbours, which has just happened. What's Millie saying? By the way, if you're still to reply to me on WhatsApp and Messenger, I'm not above coming over and kicking you in the shin, just so you know. That's true, you're not. And you're not above a lot of other things as well. But we won't talk about that here. But yeah, no, I'm very unreachable at the moment. Basically, as long as the pandemic continues, I'm becoming less and less contactable. That's not because I don't want to talk to people. It's purely because I don't know how to describe it. It's basically I'm trying to keep myself sane, and that means that what little energy I have is being directed to very specific things. So at the moment my schedule is I wake up at 7 a.m. I play a game on my Nintendo Switch called Slay the Spire for about an hour. That's a deck building game with cards, and it's kind of got it's basically a puzzle game, and I find that gets my brain in gear for the rest of the day. Then from 8 until 12 I catch up on my social media, which is predominantly Twitter and Discord at the moment. I'm actually slowly dropping Facebook. I still use Facebook, but I just don't feel like you can say anything on Facebook nowadays without people cutting into you and tearing you down, no matter which way you face. So I just got bored with it, basically. So yeah, Facebook I kind of cold on. Twitter is almost exclusively Japanese. I only talk, or almost always only talk in Japanese on Twitter. But don't worry, there is the translation button on there, so you just click that, you can read all my tweets. But also Twitter is where I talk a lot with Japanese people, and a lot of those Japanese people are Kisby fans, and Kisby fans have a kind of a code of ethics where you're always friendly, you always try to be positive, and basically you try to just be helpful and not be an asshole. So you will see kind of a tone from me that you may not expect. I don't say anything abrasive. If I do say something that's very cold and serious, like I had to the other day with the press that were hounding me, or the Asian websites that wanted news on the Hina Takano's passing, those posts are very few and far between, and when I do post those, the Hachi fans, the Kisby fans, they get upset, not because they're angry or annoyed, it's because they're genuinely concerned that I'm upset about something and had to post something like that. So I don't like to upset people, especially you guys. But I will be ramping up the Twitter presence, so you can reach me on there. WhatsApp is another thing. So WhatsApp is, I think I have over 140 different chats at any given moment, and it's just too overwhelming at the moment. I can't stay on top of hey, how are you questions. So basically I'm only checking WhatsApp if a message comes in. It's like, we agreed you were going to do something and you didn't do it, can you tell me what it is? Like if it's an urgent thing like that, I will immediately pick up WhatsApp. But yeah, I just very rarely have time at the moment to sit there just casually texting people. Oh, there goes another bat. So yeah, that's the California redwood there. Here's the mansion. And here's the church in the darkness. So yes, I do apologise to Millie. It's not you, it's everyone is affected by this. Michel, who I haven't spoken to in weeks, called earlier, and I didn't know he was going to call. So I literally for a split second my thumb was on the hang up button, because I was like, okay, I just want 5 minutes to prepare for this, but I didn't. I just picked it up, and I'm glad I did, because I was really happy to see that guy. I miss him so much. So yeah, so that's why I'm kind of dark and hard to find in terms of just casual chat these days. It's nothing personal, and it's not that I don't care about people. It's just that I really need me time, just purely for my mental health. Like I really need to concentrate on getting myself right, especially if I'm going to be going back to an office soon. I really don't want to go into an office. I want to work from home. This role that I might be getting requires me to go into the office every day. I'm not happy about that whatsoever. So that could be good for me. Getting out of the house could be exactly what I need. But by the same token, it could also be detrimental. But let's get back to the walk, because we're not going to go home just yet. I'm going to turn down here and go look at the sheep field and see if the sheep are there. Oh, it's very dark and foreboding here. It is seriously dark right now. I don't know what the time is, but it has to be about 9:30. Oh gosh. Concentrating on the road. I'm sorry that the camera work has been shoddy in the last 10 minutes or so. I've been trying to watch my feet on the ground because it's so dark right now. Watch for werewolves and zombies, absolutely. Okay, right, the sheep are not in the sheep pens here. Let's have a look over here. It's 9:30 exactly. Thank you, Millie. I appreciate that. This is where the tractor lives. Gosh, you really can't see anything. Now if I peer very vaguely into the darkness, I can just see the sheep here. I don't know if you're seeing that on the screen. But the sheep are over there. But yeah, this is well and truly becoming a night sky, so I think we're going to have to end it there, folks. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting the show and supporting me as always. I think what I might do is, if I start this job, if I have to take a lunch break, I may start, what do we call it? I might do live streams and go for walks around Milton Keynes. Or if I have an hour to kill between buses, I might switch the camera on and just go around the shopping centre or something and just show you the city in comparison to where I'm at today. And then yeah, depending on what happens, if I can figure out a way to factor in live streaming while I'm in the city, I might start promoting the show on some Milton Keynes Facebook pages and say, hey, I'll be at the shopping mall from this time to this time. If you see me wandering around, come say hello on the chat, or jump on the show. Let me know what you want to do. That could also be an invitation to get the shit kicked out of me, because that's what British people do. But hey, hopefully people will be friendly. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's have one more look at this rabbit tree. You can't really see it in the dark, but nicely done thing. Ooh, plushies in the Disney store. Yes, Melly knows exactly what we're talking about. Michelle does as well. I went in the Disney store with Michelle. I think a couple of times now. I think we went with Jeff as well. I do like the Disney store. But yeah, here we are, back home. So that is today's show, I'm afraid. So thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. A special shout out and love to Tigrable for once again being my co-pilot and helping me navigate. And yeah, I will see you guys again. I don't know if I'll be broadcasting tomorrow. We'll see how my legs are. At the moment they're kind of tired. I'm glad that we're ending it here. But yeah, you all know, if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll get a notification telling you that I'm going live. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. Michelle is saying, thanks T, good job. Tigrable is saying, time for a cup of tea and feet up, sleep well until next time. And Lady Niska is saying, see you next time. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Oh, we've just got a fourth viewer. Unfortunately, we're going to wrap the show, but yeah, don't forget you can find Toby Everyday on YouTube for all the archive of all the walks and talks that we've been doing. And I will see you again hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day. So thanks very much, and Jamata.